Los Angeles is the largest city in the nation to boost the minimum wage of its lowest paid workers. The current $9 an hour increases to $15 an hour over the next 5 years. The first increase is $10.50 an hour. That will take effect on July 1st of next year. Then annual increases until July 2020, when the minimum wage hits the $15 an hour target. 2 years after that, increases will be based on the Consumer Price Index. And for nonprofit organizations with 25 employees or fewer, the scheduled raises won't begin until 2017. However, this new city legislation has divided many business owners and the same people who help keep them in business. I personally spoke with many business folks here in LA, everyone from restaurant owners to furniture store owners, and they're all basically telling me the same thing. This new minimum wage increase is really going to hurt their profit margin, and they're not sure what to do, except to say that most likely they're either going to raise their prices or fire employees or both. Many other business owners claim they're not going to be able to afford their rent out here, or they could lose thousands of dollars a month in the next few years. And here is how sensitive this issue is. Of all the business owners we spoke with, only one agreed to be interviewed on camera. She owns a small market out here in the Pico Union neighborhood. Although after we shot the story, she called us and said she did not want to be on TV. We couldn't use the interview. The point is, of all the small companies we dealt with, no business owner wants to look like they're insensitive to their employees or to poverty. Claudia Chiku knows about poverty, and Claudia was very willing to speak with us on camera. That's because she's part of the LA workforce that will benefit from the minimum wage increase. This 32-year-old mom lives in the Pico Union neighborhood just outside of downtown. Claudia works at a restaurant near her home here. She earns $9 an hour, which is about $18,000 a year. Eventually, her $15 an hour will translate to about $30,000 a year.
It's not enough. It's not enough. It's very difficult to live with a minimum wage.
Claudia says it'll be a lot less difficult when the minimum wage is $15.
The place where I work, I'm a cashier, I'm a food runner, I'm a waitress sometimes, I'm a bartender sometimes. And even sometimes when the managers have their meetings, they'll give me the keys from the register and they'll help me the phone and here, like, here, you're in charge of the restaurant. And they'll walk away and they'll go to their meeting, and I'm there making $9 an hour and taking their position, and they're making more money than I do, and I think it's not fair.
Claudia explains the worst part about not having a livable wage.
It does break my heart because sometimes I have to miss either school events. Sometimes my daughter says, "Mommy, you work too much. We don't spend time together," and I'm like, I know, Mommy, but remember, if Mommy doesn't work, who's gonna pay the rent? If Mommy doesn't work, who's gonna buy you shoes? If Mommy doesn't work, what's gonna happen to us? She breaks my heart just with that, and that gives me more energy to continue.